Welcome to the latest episode of Five on the Floor on the Five Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for joining us on your favorite podcast app on Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify, and on Android. We recommend Spotify. Also, check out the Five Reasons YouTube channel for everything going on in South Florida sports. Also, Off the Floor, link is right here in the description. Bypass the Apple upcharge. It'll pay just $2.99 a month. Do it from your laptop. You get access to 10 different channels, plus the stage shows, the place for the most heat anywhere, most heat information, conversation, and more. So check it out. We're moving everything over from Twitter. It's Off the Floor. We don't have that Grok thing over here. Anyway, check it out again, Off the Floor. Also, Prize Picks, use the code 5 FIVE. Put down your $5. You get $50 to play right away. MLB All-Star Game, WNBA All-Star Game. You can play both of those at Prize Picks. Use the code 5. Put down your 5. Get your 50. And now, today's episode.
Mercy. Luxurious. Heat Nation. Yeah. Mercy and Lago. Down to Biscayne. Yeah. Five on the floor. Ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing. You can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frauds. Down to Biscayne. Kept the flow playing. Got it all band. Y'all seen the block. Stop with one hand. And Pat, we trust, Inspire have the guts. We're here to bring the heat. Y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to Five on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alex Toledo, Brady Hawk, and others from the Five Reasons Sports Network. Also, make sure to subscribe to Off the Floor for the most heat anywhere.
All right, welcome back to Five on the Floor. Here's today's floor plan. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick at the Five Reasons Sports. And sitting in an equally uncomfortable chair, we got Digital Adel. We did not pick the drapes. We were just trying to find a quiet place to podcast in Las Vegas, and basically this was it. Adel and I have been out here at Summer League in Las Vegas. If you're hearing this sometime on, what is today, Monday, it's likely before the Heat play another Summer League game. We apologize in advance for that because it's been a hard watch out here in Las Vegas. If you're listening afterwards, then you may have to sort of extrapolate because things can change pretty quickly. We saw Hakachonis have a breakout game in game one in Las Vegas, 24 points, and then not really do a lot offensively in the next game. We saw Khalil Ware anger all of his coaches, including his real head coach, in that first Summer League game, and then come out with force in game two. So we'll be doing more on Ware as we go forward. But today, Adel and I are going to go through what's going on with this Summer League team, particularly the back end of it, or sort of the middle end of it. And we can't have a middle end, but the middle of it. and then we'll get into maybe there's some players from other Summer League teams that the Heat might take a look at, because there's not a lot of guys who are popping off this roster right now. So let's set the scene to start. The Heat typically like to take two-way players from their Summer League team. They've already signed Golden, the big man, to a two-way. So he's already on one. Now, that could be released, but right now he's on one. He didn't play in the last game. We are expecting him to play tonight. So that's one thing. And then there are two-ways open, but we're kind of anticipating Drew Smith will ultimately sign for that as he's recuperating from an Achilles. But that's not for sure, but it's certainly possible. The other thing to note is that a couple of guys on the Summer League team already have contracts. Of course, Hakachonis, first-round pick, has a contract. He is signed. And Pella Larson, second-round pick from last year, he is signed. Ware, of course, is signed. And then the other guy is Keshad Johnson, who is signed to a standard. But actually, I want to start there, and we'll go from there. First half of this episode, we'll get into what guys have looked like on this team, and then we'll get into guys that they may want to take a look at. He hasn't really popped. And I talked to Keshad at practice between games 1 and 2. Nicest guy in the world, says all the right things, has athleticism. We know that. And I kind of think he's this sort of player that would play better with better players. But I also wanted to see a little bit more, and we haven't seen it. Why?
So one of the things about Keshad Johnson that you loved coming out was not only his athleticism, but he has an excellent motor as well. He plays extremely hard. And what the Heat were envisioning in my mind was they were looking for somebody that had position flexibility. They're going to be able to guard multiple positions on the floor, impact the game in a different way without needing, the ball or needing to be the focus. the thing about Keshad Johnson is from year 1 to year 2, you haven't really seen a lot of growth and expansion in his game. He's pretty much the same guy. Transition, lobs, dunks, rebound a little bit for you. The problem he's having is that when he guards on the perimeter at this level, he's fouling a lot. He gets really handsy and really physical, and he's not going to be able to stay on the floor like that. He has the tools, the wingspan, he has the body composition to be able to size up or size down, play on the wing, switch out on the guards. But if you're going to play with your hands, you're not going to be able to stay on the floor. And I think to me, that's been my biggest disappointment with his game is the fact that he hasn't shown that position flexibility to be able to guard the perimeter players without fouling. And a lot of that is, again, just he's very aggressive. He has to use proper technique, keep his hands out of there, use those broad shoulders and his chest, and just play defense by sliding his feet. I think if he does that, he can be very impactful defensively. Offensively, that's a whole nother issue. The shot hasn't come around. The ball handling, decision making's been pretty poor as well. Where to go with moving the ball?
Well, and I asked him about the spot up 3-point shooting, and he's acknowledged that was the big issue coming out and the reason that he slipped out of the draft. But he's talking about he's working on it every day. I don't think there's any question with him that he works. That's not an issue. It's just, is it translating to the floor? And he has been given a standard, and this is a topic of conversation now because we don't know that they're going to go after Dame Lillard or if they're going to make that move. But especially if you're looking to make more moves before camp, they say they're holding on to Wiggins. But if you're going to make more moves before camp, like you need roster spots, and they haven't waived and stretched Fontecchio, so it appears that he's going to be on the roster. Keshad Johnson is going to be on the roster, and you're going to need to feel comfortable you're getting production, I think, from pretty much everyone up and down the roster this year. And again, Keshad Johnson, I think there's a chance, like for limited minutes, like that he can give you something playing off of better players. But you're right, the development has not seemed to have been there, at least so far. He's not doing what he should be doing, considering he's been in this situation before. I want to briefly get into Larson real quick, and I hope to get the chance to talk to him a little bit today. He's actually going to play for the Swedish national team. The Heat all of a sudden are a United Nations outfit, which is remarkable considering the fact they avoided foreign players for 3 decades. But just your quick take on Larson, who is going to be on the roster, and I think right now, the way Spoelstra's talked about him, has an inside track for the rotation.
Absolutely. I mean, I loved what I've seen from Pella Larson. He's super aggressive on ball in summer league, and I think that's been a point of emphasis, something they wanted to see if he could have any, self-creation ability. And whenever this Heat team gets bogged down with poor spacing and poor ball movement, he just takes the ball, puts his head down, gets to the rim, and gets to the foul line,
and falls on the floor.
A lot.
Yeah.
But you like that type of aggressiveness, and that's what I love from him. The defense is there, just like it was in year 1. He's getting in the guy's chest. Him and Jokic, they've been really impressive defensively. They've been 2 standouts for me on a defensive end. So I really like what I've seen from Pella Larson. The 3-ball too. We saw some self-creation the last game as well, where he did a little in and out hezzy pull-up 3 in a guy's face. If you're going to get that from Pella Larson, I think he's absolutely set for rotation minutes.
Yeah, and we'll see how he fits. See, that's the thing. You can pretty much plug and play him anywhere. I think we're waiting to see what Hawkins looks like in another training camp. But I think right now I would say Larson has the edge, at least how the roster is constructed. All right, this is going to be the harder part here. We're not going to do where right now much. Maybe we do another episode on that. And obviously Hakachonis we've talked a lot about. But the rest of this summer league team, like they've been using Kira Lewis as an occasional starter. They use Stevenson, the shooter, like they're trying to make him into a Max Strus type. You and I have both talked about liking Javante Cook some, but he didn't really get a lot of action in this last game. He was more prominent in the previous game. So if I was to say to you right now, and then on the other side, we'll get into other options. There's one guy here. Oh, and Golden. We should mention Golden because he's got a 2-way. Oh, first, let's start there. In your view, have you seen enough from Golden to say that he deserves the 2-way that they've already guaranteed, well, to a certain degree, guaranteed him to bring him to camp?
Well, one thing about Vlad Golden that I really love is that he runs the floor really hard, and he plays extremely hard. Now, he's going to have some limitations with that foot speed. There's going to be a little bit of a curve. But as far as the Miami Heat, they need a backup big.
Yeah.
And if you can bring him up on occasions and allow him to be able to get minutes and, where you need a bigger lineup, I think he can really help you. There's going to be growing pains with him, but I like what I've seen in terms of his early development. and I like the fact that he's a competitor and he's going to compete. Now, he doesn't block shots well. I think he's going to have to transition to a more positional defender like Kevin Love was, where he's going to take charges and be in the right spots and do that sort of thing instead of going after blocks. If he does that, I think he could really have an impact because he does fight for rebounds. He boxes out, does a lot of little things, like I said, plays extremely hard, and he'll get on the offensive glass. You've seen several times where he follows up a teammate's shot with a put-back dunk. So I like Vlad Gordon. I think his roster, his two-way spot is justified.
Okay. Does anybody else on this roster deserve a two-way?
I think their last two-way spots outside the roster.
Okay. Cook, we've talked about. Why are you hesitant on that one?
So Cook, he does a lot of good things, nothing really great that stands out. And whenever he plays against better competition, it's really difficult for him to get to the basket. Defensively, he gets rooted out of there. Man, there are several times he has long arms and the defensive chops and willingness are there, but he will just get rooted out of there with a shoulder. He's not strong enough and sturdy enough to be a point of attack defender in the NBA, in my opinion.
Okay. So we'll talk on the other side about others. Oh, Stevenson. I'm sorry. Stevenson is the shooter. There's a little max in there, but there's not a lot of max in there. I don't see the athletic like upside that Max had that I don't think that he really got credit for. I don't know. I don't see an NBA player there. Am I wrong?
Well, the other thing with Stevenson, not just the athleticism, because I did see him. I mean, he did a off the bounce windmill dunk in warmups. Like, he's athletic. The issue that I have with Stevenson, he's a ball stopper. He doesn't move the ball. The ball goes to him. It's going up. Or he's going to dribble 100 times, turn the ball over, things like that. I don't really see a fit for him because he's one of those. A lot of players, when they're trying to make NBA rosters, they can be scorers. He has a great shooting touch. But if they're not going to be willing to play a role on the back end of the roster, you're not going to be able to make it. And that's what they really need from him, is to be able to move the ball, take open shots and open threes whenever they come, and then attack closeouts as you need to. But if you're going to stop ball movement, you're not going to be a good defender. It's not going to work out.
Yeah. I would think with Max, we kind of saw right away, like, oh, wait, I get what they like. Highsmith was the same way.
Yes.
Different kind of player. All right. On the other side of this, I'm going to have Adel give me 3 players real quick that he thinks that he could look at to poach as he's been watching Summer League. Before we do, make sure you get your homeowner's insurance, your life insurance, your car insurance, your rent insurance from the net. 954-581-8800, one of our biggest fans. We apologize to her for that because I know she doesn't want to be associated with that. I understand. InsurancebyLynette.com, aggressive insurance, 954-581-8800. 8800. That's 954-581-8800. Based in Lauderhill, we can service the entire Tri-County area. And if you have a bad driver record, she's definitely the person to go to. So check it out. InsurancebyLynette.com. 2 N's and 2 T's. InsurancebyLynette.com. All right. So quickly here, give me 3 players that you think, if they're going to be available, and right now none of them are signed, I would assume, that the Heat should take a look at.
Yeah, Chucky Hepburn. He's one of the guys that I think is one of the best on-ball defenders that are unsigned, that are currently out there. He has some good size to him. His hands are really quick, man. I mean, really quick hands. He's a thief, and he's a good facilitator. He can shoot. He knows when to go, when to slow, control pace. I like Chucky Hepburn a lot.
And he's with who? Toronto?
He's with Toronto.
Okay, just in case people want to watch. Okay, who's the second one?
The second one's going to be Jalen Bridges. He got let go by Phoenix.
Watching yesterday.
Yeah, he got picked up by Boston Celtics. I like what he does. He's one of those guys that's exactly what you want Stevenson to be, where he just fills in his role, is willing to play his role, good defender, block shots, he'll rebound for you. Can't really put the ball on the floor, but he shoots 41% from deep.
Okay, and the third one, by the way, you and I were watching that Boston-New York game. Tyler Kolek want to stop shooting now, 1 of 14.
Oh, my gosh.
And there are Knicks fans who want him to play. I don't think he's ready to play right now. Okay, number 3?
Number 3 would be Grant Nelson. I can't remember what team he's on. I believe it's the Orlando Magic, or the Brooklyn Nets.
People know him from college. They're pretty familiar with him.
It's either the Brooklyn Nets or Orlando Magic, but yeah, from college. Yep. He's 6'10". He's super versatile. He's just not super consistent with his scoring. He has the ability to space the floor. He has the ability to get to the rim, put rim pressure, and he's got ability to be switchable defensively as well. He's just not super strong. Needs to put some weight on. But if anybody, in terms of the versatile bigs that are out there unsigned, I think Grant Nelson would be a guy you should really take a hard look at.
Yeah, and again, a player who scored a lot of points in college, and they need bigs. There's no question about like where the deficit is on the roster right now. They do not have a backup five. I mean, unless you're counting Jovic, and I'm not sure that we want to do that because I think he should kind of be the starting four, but that's another conversation. We'll talk about the current starting five on another episode. So Kalel Ware, obviously coming off the big game yesterday, we should acknowledge it. He showed a lot of the aggression that we wanted to see, but again, we'll save that for the next step. All right, follow Digital Adel at Digital Adel. Make that easy for you. We'll also have more content from out here in Las Vegas over the next day or so. And again, subscribe to Off the Floor. Have a good one, everybody.